All right, as luck would have it, we have a CBO score, came out early. We don't know most of what is there. Question is, where's this leading, what the aggregate numbers are. I know some things. I don't want to put our guests at a disadvantage. Let me first of all introduce Republican Whip Steve Scalise, number two man House. Steve, thanks for coming on. I'd like to give you a lot more. What I know so far, this thing just broke. For the 10 years, spending's going up $411 billion. Revenues are going up $1 trillion. Of course, that's because they're not including the long-term spending. They're just having it 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. The revenues are for 10 years, and the total deficit is $798 billion. That's the total deficit. I don't know whether that's higher or lower than expected. I don't have a number yet on the IRS tax gap, tax cheating stuff. So I apologize for the breaking news. Where do you think we're at on this? When will we vote, Steve Scalise, and how do you reckon this vote's going to go?
Yeah, Larry, it's good to be with you, and I know some parts of that CBO score were already out, some are rolling in right now. One of the things that the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton study does is it takes out the budget gimmicks. We all know, no matter what the CBO says, they put budget gimmicks in to deliberately try to mislead and make it look different. So the Wharton study really shows when you take out the gimmicks, you end up with about $4.5 trillion of spending with about $1.5 trillion in new taxes. Both, by the way, are devastating to our economy, will jack up inflation even higher. But that nets out maybe about $3 trillion in additional deficit if you look at it from that perspective. The bottom line is, if you go through different pieces of this bill, the energy tax alone is going to be devastating to families in a cold winter that we're looking towards having right now, where you're going to have probably 30% increases in your household electricity bills. That, by the way, breaks President Biden's promise that if you make less than $400,000, you won't pay a dime in new taxes. That's not going to happen because you're going to be paying a lot more. You're going to be paying 30% more just on your electricity bills. The 87,000 IRS agents, Larry, who has asked you or any of them? I've never gotten a phone call of people going, please put 87,000 more IRS agents out there looking into people's bank accounts to find, for example, if your grandmother is making $10,000, she's going to end up having somebody combing through to try to make her pay more taxes because they they're spending about $400 billion from those IRS agents. So early estimates we were getting from CBO said they're going to be $280 billion short just on that. That would be new deficit spending. It's going to jack up inflation. It's going to ultimately hurt a lot of families. As you've said from the beginning, and I think a lot of people now recognize, save America, kill the bill. But they're bringing it tonight. I think probably late tonight, by dark of night, 9 o'clock or so, you might see this bill come up for a vote and eke out of the House. But it's really bad for America at any price. $1.5 trillion, even if the Senate goes for that, would be devastating to middle-class jobs in America. We know the kind of damage that would do.
You know, Steve Scalise, many things can be said about this, and we'll know more when the numbers come in. But what you got here is 10 years of tax hikes and only a couple of years of spending. That's how it's going to be scored. I'm sorry if the CBO fell for that. I thought they might have an alternative baseline, like the Penn-Wharton model, which extends it to, the full permanent entitlements, which is what the Democrats want. So does the Committee for Responsible Budget, which came up to almost $5 trillion. So 10 years of tax hikes and only a couple of years of scored spending increases means, Mr. Scalise, more taxes will be on the way. And they are going to hit the middle class, just as some taxes are already hitting the middle class.
Yeah, they're just getting started with this, and this shows you a sneak peek into what their big government socialist agenda looks like. And by the way, that was the agenda that voters in states like Virginia and New Jersey rejected. And yet Biden and Pelosi want to keep ramming more of that kind of stuff through. But take a look at why they're doing it. So first of all, they talk about the millionaires and billionaires. Bernie Sanders yesterday even said there are provisions in this bill that are going to ultimately give big tax breaks to millionaires. He called it hypocritical. It's in the bill. And they're raising, again, your electricity bill. So if you're using natural gas, you're going to pay 30% more. That's a gut punch to low and middle income families so that they can then go and give tax breaks to millionaires. You can't make this stuff up, Larry. And then you look at some of the other provisions in the bill that would hit families when they're already being hit with higher prices for gasoline at the pump. This will be the most expensive Thanksgiving ever. And even if a family can afford a Thanksgiving turkey, that's going to become more expensive too. All of that's in this bill.
So there's about $550 billion of renewable energy subsidies, quote unquote, at the time, as you say, when gasoline and crude oil and natural gas and home heating prices are going up. So they're going to spend $550 billion to stop us from producing the very backbone of our energy, which will continue to be fossil fuels forever and ever. I got nothing against renewables, but that's what they're doing. They're going to make the problem worse.
Yeah, and I'm for all of the above sources of energy. We all know if you max out on wind and solar, you're not going to get 20% of your household electricity needs, let alone what you need for fuel, transportation on the road. I mean, if somebody's driving an electric vehicle, great for them. They're not plugging that into a tree. They're plugging it into a power source that probably uses fossil fuels. And they have a war, not, Larry, on all fossil fuels. Biden only has a war on American fossil fuels. He's calling and begging OPEC and Russia to produce more oil at the time when he's shutting off production in America and killing pipelines in America while letting Russia build their Nord Stream 2 pipeline. People are seeing through this stuff. They know why they're paying $150 to fill up their car when it cost them maybe $75, $80 a year ago. And they're angry about it. They expressed that in Virginia, and President Biden said he doesn't care what they think. They're just going to keep doubling down, put the foot on the gas, and keep ramming through this socialist agenda. This is what people are sick and tired of. They sure don't want higher inflation. They will get it with this bill if it passes.
Yeah, so seems to me Democrats want the government to take over child rearing. They want the government to take over what your kids learn in school. They want the government to provide all kinds of new safety net and/or entitlement programs with, Steve Scalise, with no work requirements. So they're penalizing the productive workers with higher taxes, and they're subsidizing non-work with an absence of work requirements. I mean, that is a transformation that really ends and removes the American ideal. That's not how our country has operated these several centuries.
Yeah, those aren't the American values that made this country the envy of the world. You know, it's the work ethic that frankly is a gift of God to say, you know, go out and produce things and help make this country an even greater country. You know, and small business owner that's struggling, and you know they're the last check if they own their business because they want to pay their workers first, and they might want to expand their business, and yet this is a gut punch to them. It makes it harder for them to hire more people, and you've seen that. And by the way, what are they doing all this for? These social programs paying people more money not to work. All of that's in this bill. At all the same time, they're contemplating right now, you've seen it, where the Biden administration is negotiating to give $450,000 checks per person to people who came here illegally. So you're going to be paying 30% more for electricity. If you're somebody that maybe makes $40,000 a year, you're going to pay 30% more in your electricity bill this winter. And they're giving all this money so that they can be doing things like giving $450,000 checks to people who came here illegally. I heard somebody say the other day, they're going to go buy a plane ticket to Mexico City and come across the border illegally so they can get a $450,000 check. This is lunacy, Larry.
Yeah, so they removed the Social Security requirement to show a Social Security number, which opens the door to an increase in
massive
welfare
fraud
for illegal immigrants, which is massive fraud, right? So it's financing.
And they give millions more amnesty. They give amnesty to millions more people in this bill. At the same time, they're telling people you can get a $450,000 check. Do you think that's going to slow down the tide of people coming here illegally? It's going to mushroom it even higher. Our borders are being overrun. Our Border Patrol agents are telling you this is the worst crisis they've ever seen. And Biden wants to just keep doubling down on it while he's making it harder for small businesses to stay afloat with higher taxes, while he's making it harder for hardworking families to be able to stay afloat because they're going to be paying more for everything. Inflation is going to get even higher with this bill.
Last one, Ms. Scalise. I'm assuming this budget is dead on arrival in the Senate.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's not going to pass. It might change, but again, let's say they go to $1.5 trillion in new taxes, and maybe they pare some of the spending down. But if they keep doing the budget gimmicks to make it look smaller, but they still keep all of the budget items in there, that's really where you ultimately have something that's going to hurt this economy even more. It's going to hurt middle-class families because inflation is the biggest tax on lower-income people. Again, President Biden promised you wouldn't pay a dime in new taxes if you made under $400,000. People are already paying more in Biden's inflation tax. Then you throw in natural gas tax. You throw in all these other taxes. It's going to hurt middle and lower income families the hardest at a time when they're already struggling from President Biden's inflation that's already too high.
Yeah, well, Manchin said we should pause spending until the inflation comes down. Yellen says the inflation's not coming down until the second half of next year, and she may be optimistic. So I say pause the spending. We don't need a bill. We don't need any of this
stuff. They ought to throw this bill in the trash can.
Yes, sir.
You would see the economy take off like nothing we've seen, Larry. If tomorrow President Biden said, look, I know it passed the House, but it would hurt the economy. It would hurt lower and middle income families the hardest. We're going to set this on the side and abandon it. Not wait for a few months and sneak it through later. Abandon it. That's what they should do. The economy will take off like nothing we've seen.
Thank you, Steve Scalise. We appreciate your time very much, sir.
Great being